So Mike, what is a buyer's agent?
A buyer's agent is an agent that is specifically been hired by the buyer to, of course, help them locate properties that would match up, both in terms of geography and price, but then also to assist them in negotiating. And then also, on walking through and examining, a structure is trying to help them evaluate really as early as possible, if there's any major defects. There's a whole classification of things. We refer to them as walkaway factors. Walkaway factors are, just heaving foundation, just major difficulties like that just need to, I think a lot of times you need to run away from for most buyers because they just don't have the wherewithal or the expertise to handle situations like that. We also try very much to, a buyer's agent is going to train a purchaser how to look at a house, and examine like the most expensive things are on the outside, and teach them actually how to look at all of that so that they become much better consumers. Does it cost you more? It does not. A buyer's agent is compensated by the seller's agent who has the sign-in along, and that's the multiple listing system. The key thing to understand here is agency. The concept of agency means you're acting on behalf of another. So if you're an agent that's representing a seller or representing a buyer, you have the same degree of fiduciary obligation that you are anything you do for that person would be what you would do for yourself. It's that intimate, in terms of the degree of diligence that's required. And so that means, like, for instance, after I show a house to a buyer, the listing agent's always going to call. What do they think of it? The absolute worst thing the buyer agent can do is say, oh, they love it. They absolutely love it. You should have heard them. That's the worst thing that a buyer agent can do. A buyer agent should be saying, yeah, well, they liked a lot of things about it. They're not 100% sure if, they can afford the different repairs we noticed. Can you keep me informed if any offers come in? That's how a really good buyer agent handles that conversation. In the same way, representing the buyer on that same phone call with the seller, something a buyer agent should do. And all my real estate friends out there, go ahead and take this, start using it, I don't care, is ask the seller's agent, can they close? Can they do a normal closing? It sounds like a really innocent question, right? So a seller's agent who's like perfectly willing to give away the goods sometimes will answer that question. They can close like in a couple of weeks. I've had that happen like so many times that the seller's agent says that. And it's like, hey, you just told me those people are desperate. And I can tell the buyers that. I work for the buyer. So that is really good example, both of those things, of how agency works in the day in and day out of real estate. Bottom line, buyer or seller agent, it's really important that you interview a couple people and see who you're comfortable with, because you're going to be spending time with them and you need to develop trust with that person. And, you need to have a good vibe right from the beginning, I think. So anyways, that's what a buyer agent is.